Welcome to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, brought to you by PILMMA. This podcast helps lead lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Here is your legal marketing expert and host, Ken Hardison.
Well, hello, everyone. This is Ken Hardison, and welcome to another episode of Grow Your Law Firm. And today it's going to be a solo cast with yours truly. And I want to talk to you about focus and discipline. And what I mean by that is what I think is the key, the difference between lawyers who are very, very successful and really grow their law firms and lawyers that don't, even though they might be the smartest and the sharpest pencil in the room. Somehow they just don't get it done. Because think about it. Lawyers are smart, or you wouldn't get through law school or take the bar exam and pass it. So all the lawyers, whether you want to grow or not want to grow, have the same amount of hours, minutes, and seconds of every day. So what differentiates the successful lawyers? And when I say successful, we could get into a whole thing about what is your definition of success. But for the purpose of this podcast, let's just say a very profitable, well-oiled machine that you have to work less than 40 hours a week at, where you can take off for 2 or 3 months if you want to, and it still keeps going. Why are there some lawyers that got law firms like that and others are just struggling to get by, and that their cash flow just is all over the place? And over the last, 40 years, I've helped a lot of lawyers grow their law firms, quadruple 10 times. And I can tell you, some of them I tried to help and I was not able to help. But I gave them the same information. I gave them the same coaching. I gave them my same secrets that I used when I grew my law firm. And yet, there's still those lawyers who are great people, but just can't take it to the next level. And I've thought about this, and I've thought about this, and I've looked at it, examined it. And really what it comes down to is that the ones that really are successful are the ones that get stuff done, both personally and their law firm. I guess you call it execution, right? Because you got the same hours, the same minutes, and you can have the same goals. But I'd rather have one goal that I can execute than 20 goals and ideas that I never get done. And I think that was the key to my success, growing the law firms. I grew so fast. I was never the smartest lawyer in the room, ever. But I was very laser focused, and I was very disciplined, and we'll get more into that. And I had grit. And that's probably a third thing we need to talk about, because, there's a book out there. We actually had somebody come and talk at the PILMMA Summit several years ago about grit and what they did studies. And people out of college, who were the ones that became real successful. And it wasn't always the ones at the top of the class. Just like in law school, you see a lot of your top law review people, they don't have very successful practices. They're successful. They might be teachers or whatever, work for the government, but they're not entrepreneurs, and they don't own very big, large, successful law firms. So let's get back to this focus. And what I mean by focus is, it's so easily to get distracted rather, in your day-to-day, where you're becoming reactive versus proactive. And, and some of us, and I'm guilty of this, get bitten by the shiny object bug. And what that is you see some shiny object, instead of staying focused on what you're trying to accomplish, you go over here. Say, I want to grab that. It's like a cat, and it got this silver thing out here, shiny object, and it distracts them. and they want to go over and play with that. That's probably been one of my biggest challenges over the years. It's because I like to try new things, and it's okay to try new things, but you got to still stay focused on your goals. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about how can you stay laser focused and disciplined? How can you get stuff done? How can you keep from being reactive and be more proactive? Well, it takes work and it takes a plan. Let's go personally, okay? Managing time, some people it's not time management, it's whatever, but the bottom line is, what is it that you get done every day? Are you constantly putting out fire mode, or are you actually working on your business and getting certain things done? I'm going to give you how I get things done. Every day, I have created a form called my to-do list, and I get it prepared before I finish up the day. But during the day, I can add things to it. As things come across my desk, as I get emails, after meetings, I can keep adding to this list. And then at the end of the day, I prioritize them. And A, being it's got to be done the next day. B is I want to get it done, but I don't have to. And C, it can wait. And each day you keep adding and marking out, and then you keep readjusting this list, and C's become B's and B's become A's. And then you'll have some new A's come in and some new B's and some new C's. The other thing is that you really need to set aside 2 hours a day to work on your practice. And you can, if you can't go in the office and do it, then do it at home. Wake up, do it from 7 to 9, do it from 8 to 10, whatever you got to do. We got some lawyers that actually have another office that they go to and do their work. It's not in their law office. They actually have offices outside of their office. They can't work at home because of children or whatever distractions. So they actually just go out and rent an office space to go in and work 2 or 3 hours a day. And those are the lawyers that are highly successful and they get stuff done. And this helps you to stay focused on what your goals are and things you're trying to get done. Another thing that I think is really important is staying away from distractions. Is the got a minute. When you're walking down the hall, everybody says you got a minute, got a minute, got a minute. Just got to stop that and make it to where they had to come to you. I used to have a got a minute, and I take an hour a day, had a clipboard outside my office door, and they could sign up for got a minute consultations with me, and they couldn't last over 10 minutes. And what I found was when I started doing that, most of the people figured it out themselves. Once in a while, I have 2 or 3 a day, but that's better than getting 20 a day walking around the office. Another thing that I always like to do is I always like to prioritize and do the thing I hate or dread doing the most first. And I always me personally, I like to do it in the morning. I'm a morning person. I'm sharper. I'm more alert. I'm not as tired. So I like to knock out the things that I'm kind of not looking forward to, but I'm the only one that can do it. And do that first. It's called Eating the Frog. Brian Tracy. You ought to read the book if you haven't ever read it. But from your law firm, I think the key is every year I figure out the 5 main things that I want to try to accomplish next year. And they're more broader things. And it's just not numbers. It could be like going paperless. It could be like getting everything systematized. It could be become more data driven. It could be want to shorten the time on desk of a file, Might be I want to increase my average fee on car wrecks, or it might be that I want to increase my monthly intakes to 60 versus 30, whatever it might be. And then I got those 5 main things that I want to focus on for the next year. And then we do what we call quarterly planning, where I get my inner circle, people that they're not really partners, but I call them partners. These are the people that I call them stakeholders, really. Those are the people that really treat the firm like it's theirs and have an interest. They're my A players for the most part, and they're in management. And it could be other lawyers, it could be whatever. But the key is these people are going to help me get the things done and executed that I want to accomplish my 5 main things for the year. But instead of trying to just have 5 goals for the whole year and then wait till the last quarter to try to get them done, we work on them quarterly. And I do this through kind of workshopping it on what are the, like if I was going to do the systems, what are the, like, let's brainstorm this. What are the things that we can do to do this? And people come up with ideas, then we agree on them. Me having the final vote, of course, because I'm the owner. And then lay out exactly what, step by step, what's got to be done to have this thing accomplished in 90 days. And then set out what is it got to be done, who's going to do it, and then what's the deadline. And then have weekly 10-minute meetings to go over status, either put it in a project manager like Trello or Basecamp. There's a bunch of them. This, all you got to do is type in free project manager software, you'll find one in there. And it's just really to keep everybody accountable. And then you got to have somebody that owns it. And what I mean by that is, if there's nobody in charge, if everybody's in charge, nobody's in charge. So one person's got to own the whole project for that quarter. But then they got to make sure hold accountable other people that have tasks. And some of the tasks might have to be stuff you have to order from outside. It might be outsourced. And then whoever's got the outsourcing has got to hold the people that they're outsourcing accountable. So the whole deal is accountability, right? And breaking down these big things that you want to get done into smaller quarterly projects, and then holding people accountable and having deadlines. The lawyers that are most successful do this, and they stay focused. They don't get distracted, and they're disciplined. And what I mean discipline is they don't get taken away by some shiny object. They don't get their line of vision, their focus disrupted by something else. They don't mean that you can't have things come along during the year that you don't expect, that you have to deal with. But overall, when you do these things, you're getting stuff done personally, and you're getting stuff done from the big picture, the law firm, and you're doing it with the help of other people, and everything's focused because you got your 5 main things. And then you've got your quarterly projects, and you can have anywhere from 3 to 5, depending on how big they are, depending on how big your law firm is and whether or not you can handle it. But the deal is, you want to stay on track and do this every quarter. And I can promise you that you'll get more done than you ever thought possible. And that is what makes a successful law firm, a successful lawyer, a successful business person, is getting stuff done. We talk about this all the time in the PILMMA masterminds. I write about it a lot in the PILMMA magazine. I've got presentations. I'm actually going to do a presentation May 16th through the 18th on execution, where I'm going to go in step by step and show you how we do this with other law firms and how I do it with PILMMA itself, and really get more granular in this deal, which is hard to do on a podcast, because I'll have, you know, a slide deck out there showing how we go through, how we do it, the forms we use, the process of how we go through it, deciding. So if you hadn't signed up for it, I would go to pilmma.org/summit, and check us out. We have a money back guarantee. You can also stream it if you can't get away from the office. And if you live stream it, we'll give you the videos of it in case you can see some of it live and the other part you can't. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful. Until next time, this is Ken Hardison, dedicated to your success.
You have been listening to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, the podcast that leads lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Go to growyourlawfirm.com to find more ways to market and manage your law firm. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts.